Hello everybody, welcome back. Today, or in this episode, we're going to try and get a fuel system put together on the Project R. We do that, and I'd say here shortly we're going to get that thing running, or at least try to get it running. I don't have any good wiring harness, but we'll be able to hot wire that thing, put some power to the coil, power to the starter, and hopefully it works. But I'm having an issue trying to find a carburetor. So right here is a combine engine that I took the gas tank off of. Well, it's a Z engine, so why not take the carburetor off? So that's my plan. Yeah. So I'm going to get set up. I brought some tools out here and we'll get that thing off. So first, I'm going to take this fuel line off, which is right there. And let's see, it's a 5/8 right there. Already got it loose. I'm going to spin this off first, and then we'll see about that choke cable. So first, loosen up the screw that holds your choke cable, the actual cable itself. Which I already got that most of the way done. We'll find out. Then you got the choke cable clamp that holds the outer shield of the. Oh, I need a different screwdriver. That holds the outer shield of the choke. That's the inner part. If you don't know, a choke is a two-piece. You got to have a piece of wire to slide inside of something. So, all right, I'm gonna get a better screwdriver, and then we'll try that again. Hard to see with you guys in the way. Wide is stubborn. Oh, turn one way. Sometimes you just gotta break the rust loose or whatever's holding it. So I went tighter and now I'm able to go looser. There we go. There. So that was loose enough, so that came out. Get that up nice and close. That's your choke cable. Here's the outer sleeve. Here's the actual cable itself right here. There it is. Okay. Next step, we'll take off the two bolts that hold the carburetor to the manifold. Well, I've got one bolt out, and without smashing my knuckles, we'll get that one out. So some of these carburetors have studs threaded into them, into the actual carburetor. And then some of them have threads in them, so you can just through bolt through the manifold. That's this one. There we go. Here's the second bolt. Gently. Let's see. What do we got? All we have left is the governor linkage. And there we go. So the governor linkage is just with a cotter key. I don't know if you can see. Where's my finger at? That's just here. Anyway, there's a cotter key where my finger is, if you can see that. So I got to get that done. I'm gonna need both hands. So I'm gonna shut you off and set you down because it's too dark really for you to see anything anyway. So in one of the last videos I talked about how I plugged all exposed holes. Here's my blue paper towel from years ago. Still there, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick it up in the intake so birds are, at least birds are discouraged. I don't think mice would go up that direction, but at least it'll slow them down. All right. And this is not the first time this carburetor's been off this engine. Years ago, before I got this thing running, like I mentioned before, it was stuck. I took the carburetor off at the suggestion of my friend Jeff. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Because he's really into tractor pulling and making more power. Especially when I first met him. I mean, still the same. But he suggested putting a bigger carburetor on there to get more air so you could burn more fuel so it'd make more horsepower on my first tractor, the RTS sitting in the shop. So this was on the R for a while. But then I went ahead and started working on this. The thing didn't pull that good anyway, my R. So I put the other carburetor back on it, the stock size, and tore this down, made it turn over, cleaned her up, did some valve work, and put the carburetor back on. But here I am calling on it again to go tractor pulling. It should work. I mean, it was drained of fuel, I'm pretty sure. That's kind of how I ran this thing. And the ignition switch didn't work, and I never went and bought a new one. So I just shut the fuel off and let it run out. So, all right, let's get the tools gathered up and we'll go back to the shop. So, this is, I don't know what carburetor this is off of. It's not off an R Moline. Because the Molines have the fuel coming off the other side. It's no big deal. I can burn the fuel line anywhere. Choke is stuck, but so what? Throttle moves. That's great. But if you know Molines, I shouldn't be able to grab the throttle shaft on this side. So throttle shaft is pointed the wrong direction. Almost not that big of a deal because the whole body of the carburetor is built the same side to side. So here's the throttle screw, or the throttle idle set screw. It comes down and hits a stop down here. So you can adjust it in and out to adjust your idle, right? So that stop is on the same spot on the other side. And so I can take this throttle shaft out. I can flip it around because it's just a freeze plug on the other side. Pull the freeze plug, and of course take the carburetor off, push the freeze plug out, undo the throttle shaft, put it in on the other side. That is the problem. If I don't have the right throttle shaft, I mean, the governor's set up to work to where this is idle is down. If I go to the other side, it's going to be opposite. And I can't switch that the idle set screw to the other side, so it's on this side. If I switch it, it's going to be on the back side back here. It's going to screw everything up. And then the governor right here, the rod that's here and then goes up, which we'll see it in a moment, is on the wrong side. So, remember when I was saying that some have studs for the carburetor? So here's a stud. It's just the nut is stuck on there and it came out of the carburetor anyway. So you just got a little stud with the nut on it. Let's see what this does. Well, this one, the nut's coming off. There we go. The gasket stayed on it. Put the nut back on. I don't know if this carburetor is any good. I just needed it to shoot some gas into, or starting fluid. But like we found out that I had a couple stuck valves, so it wasn't going to start. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to compare sizes of the R. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if this is off an R or not. I don't see the tag number on it to give you a model size, and I don't know what they all stand for anyway. But here's the Z carb that just came off that stationary. See the size of the throat? Way bigger. More air. It means you can burn more fuel, more power. But this is a Z carburetor, not anything bigger. See how that fits inside. So set this little carburetor aside. We're going to grab this one. This is one I bought at an auction locally, and it says it's off a John Deere 420. Again, look at the throat size. The Z is actually smaller than the 420. So this one's going to fit inside of that one. Ideally, I'd use this, but I don't know, that might fit. But the throat here is bigger, or the intake side is bigger than the Z. So I don't want to swap tops because I'm going to choke it down to here. I mean, the butterflies and everything are smaller in there. So if I could find this, well, and I'll set the Z-carb down now. This is the same as that little carburetor. The fuel's on the wrong side. Again, that one doesn't matter, but the throttle is. That's the one that matters. Again, I can switch it. There's the little freeze plug. I could take the 2 screws out of the butterfly, take that disc out of there, and I could slide the shaft out, push that freeze plug out again. Take this, put it in there after I put the freeze plug in on this side. You see here, you see, I don't know if you can see that. It's going up and down. That means the bushings in here are wore out. That means it's sucking more air, so it's not going to be as efficient. Or I should say it's not going to run as good. You could add more fuel to it to compensate. Anyway, you can get bushings, you can rebuild that. Anyway, but in the end, the idle set screws on the wrong side, so if I pull it out, stick it in over here, the idle set screws again going to be on the back, and this only works on the front side of this governor rod. So we'll set this aside. See if the choke still, yep, choke still works. Very nice. Good bird poop on it. Lovely. We'll put the governor shaft in. Still got the gasket on here from the years ago. And I still have the gasket on here, so heck with it. I'm just going to run a double gasket. I know, it's not right, but holy cow. It's a little sticky. There we go. I gotta find my cotter key. What is, oh, up here. Boy, it's a little. And you have to have a short cotter key too. You can't, I mean, look how big that is, or small it is. Not only diameter, but length. That way it doesn't get bound up on your linkage. Okay. I'm going to set that up there. Someday we're going to get that to connect or hook up. And these are fine thread. So just like studs, they got fine thread on one end and coarse on the other. So wouldn't it be like running 2 gaskets would act like a carburetor spacer, which kind of this is here. Lets it hang down farther. There we go, double check. Okay, we're good. But I don't like, our throttle was stuck. And it might be, part of it is, looks like my cotter key's getting hung up on my idle set screw. Let's try that. Still sticky. Let's see. See some oil. Get some oil on that thing. Maybe taking that thing apart. Yeah, we're a little sticky here. Here's your throttle rod, which I'm gonna have to figure out good grief. I'm gonna have to figure out a throttle setup. Now some guys, they'll use a like a hand throttle with a cable, kind of like your choke cable for kind of like a boat or something. Some run factory stuff. And that's my plan. We'll see how it goes. All right, I'm going to play with this a little bit more and see if I can get it to free up. Then once we get this figured out, then we got to dump this old gas out of that gas tank. So here's the governor rod, or the extension. So here's the governor. It moves nice and free. There's your throttle side. It's working the way it's supposed to. So this was working up and down with this, but I went ahead and pulled it out anyway, and this is pretty rusty. So just moving it up and down created rust with penetrating oil. So clean this up a little bit, and we'll do the same thing with the other end, because the hitch point seems to be this going in the carburetor, the throttle. So it shouldn't. There, see, that's where it's been riding. It's on that shiny spot. And that should be the same thing for the other end. Nice and clean and smooth. So that's better. Supposed to be a cotter key there too, but it's missing. The length of this one at the bottom isn't as important for length as this top one. So here, this one's just black. It's not rusty necessarily, but it is definitely rough. You can feel it. That's better. So I'll keep working away at this. Yeah, you want your throttle linkage nice and smooth and not sticky, because sticky means you hang the throttle, and which I did that on the R over there once during a tractor pull. Friend Jeff, thanks again Jeff, he couldn't figure out why I wouldn't throttle up anymore. I says, well, I already did mess with the governor screw, and that's all I can get out of it. And he came over to me and said, "Hey, do you want to go faster?" This is after one of our parades, because stock speed with 38-inch tires is about 13 miles an hour. And it's like, yeah, I do. So he comes over, and this is all hooked up, of course. He comes over and he bends this rod, which, if you don't know, makes that rod shorter from here to here, which means I can't idle down as much as I'd like, stock wise, which that thing purred at an idle, just had the smoothest rhythm to it. But which I made adjustments on the carburetor. But when he shortened that up, that also means I got more throttle, so I get more RPM, and now it goes down the road about 17 miles an hour, I think. Yeah, it scoots pretty good. See, it's starting to come around how shiny that is, and still a little dark on top. And that's the bottom point. And then this is starting to shine up a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to keep playing with this, and we'll see if I can get it cleaned up enough to where everything's nice and smooth and works like it should. So now that goes in and out nicely. When we first put that carburetor on there, you remember I was fighting to get that thing to work in there. But now it's nice. Okay, let me grab a couple things. We'll come back and we'll put that carburetor on. Hopefully for the last time. Well, I'll show you. I was just cleaning up in here because I don't have anything small enough to really clean that out. So what I did is I just stuck this in here and I just kept turning it. And every time I pushed it in, pulled it out, this kept getting more and more rusty oil on it from me working on it or working with it like this. So that's all nice. That's even looser than it was before, so that's good. So we're going to hook that up. Pops right in. Hopefully everything is loose like it's supposed to. Feels like it's binding, trying to line up, so I may have to tweak something, because that might be my real issue, is something is bent. But we'll get this on first. So again, I've never built a project like this. I mean, I've gone through an engine and cleaned everything, put everything back together. Bigger bore, bigger pistons and all that. I have not stroked an engine or anything, or had one stroked and for a more serious pulling engine, but this is probably the second worst tractor I'm trying to put together. The first one was crusty. It was in rough shape, but everything was there. This one, not everything is here, and I'm taking three tractors, because that's our front end, but it's not from this R. So trying to get everything to work, and it's just been more of a struggle than I thought it would be. So again, if I would have had two good tractors where I had a running RTI and a running Z slapped together, and I know everything's gonna work, so to speak. Yeah, see, this thing is bound up again. No, I don't know. Not sure why it's binding up. And I'm up here looking, and I got two loose head studs. I might be pulling the head off now. I don't know. We'll see if we can tighten it up. That blue silicone on the head gasket's got me nervous. Yeah, that's moving, but it's not, ouch. It's not moving that. Now that moves freely. Maybe I need to tweak on it. Get that to line up nicely. I think that's my problem. It's not, I know you can't see, but the linkage is not lining up with the hole. It's like half a hole off, so which doesn't make sense. That, hey, there we go. So I had that short throttle shaft piece. I just put pressure on this because this is cast. I do not want that to break. Put a little pressure on it and went ahead and bent it just ever so slightly. I gotta get cotter key to fit again. So for those of you following along on this build, if you haven't figured it out by now, this is not the this is definitely not the one episode where you get to see all the parts fly apart and come back together like they do on TV or even some of the other YouTube channels. I've been, when I watch other channels, which I do, the guys that are in the situation I am, they're doing the same type of build where you see them working on it all the time. Okay, so that cotter key is hanging up. So, but the guys that have a big following and they do this for a living, they get to spend a whole week working on a project where I still got to go to work and do what I can in an afternoon. That's why they're called winter projects. And this is mine. As we know, what is it, March 3rd? I got like 7 weeks to have this done for the first pull if I'm going and if I'm going to take this. Okay, that's good. Choke works. Fuel line. I know everything in there should be clean. Next step is get that tank off and get it cleaned up. Alright. Now, let's dump the gas. Not the worst smelling gas, but it's definitely old. Oh, there's something in there. Well, that's weird. You hear that? Careful, I'm gonna get that stinky gas on me and the wife won't let me in the house. Anybody else have that problem? Got a stinky hobby? Smelly? Oh, hey. That's that nylon webbing. Looks actually almost like a, not factory, but it looks like a piece of strap that sits right there. That's where it's been sitting. That's where the factory spot was. So we'll put that up there so it doesn't fall off on us. Oh, why won't that come out? Huh. Well, I don't want whatever that is to stay in there, so I'm gonna figure out how to get that chunk of whatever out of there, and then we'll move on from that. I'm gonna take the sediment bowl out. I went and bought some different pieces, and so we can make up a fuel system. All right, I'll bring you back. Well, this is what I found. If you have animals and fences, you recognize that? Fence wire clips. 5 of them. All brand new. I mean, they don't smell new. Alright. Yeah, I'll probably throw these out in the barn next time I need to fix fence. So I got those out, dumped the gas out. Let's, well, yeah, I just came back to show you what I found. Let's get the new parts and see about getting the new fittings done. So I threaded that in there. I just got done doing this. I mocked it up to see where I wanted this to stick out, and really I could have got a shorter nipple. That way this would have sucked in further. I still may do that. But I marked here on my tank, you probably can't see it, a Sharpie mark. That way when I take it all apart, I know which way to put it together. And I keep looking at this. I had it up there and the angle's right. But if I don't get this shorter, and everything's going to shorten up as I tighten it because everything's loose. And I can just take that apart. Maybe what I'll do, I'll stop on my way home from work and get a shorter one of these. I may only need like a 1-inch nipple. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to get a shorter nipple. We'll suck this in so it's not sticking out so far, because the hose right now is going to come out and it's going to have to go out and around a little ways because it's going to be such a tight bend to get back to the carburetor. Now, if the fuel was on the outside of the carburetor like I was showing in the others, it probably wouldn't be an issue, but that's what we're going to do. I'm going to hold off putting this together, and I will get a shorter nipple. Well, I figured out why these nuts were loose for the head. It's because I took them off. I took this off because the air cleaner bracket mounts right here. You can see the outline in the paint. There's the dirt mark right there. So, I don't remember what the torque spec is, but because this had the bracket on there, that means the nuts aren't able to go down all the way cleanly, smoothly. So, I ran taps through the nuts. Oh wow, maybe this is the nuts. Shoot, I just did that by hand. I'm all the way up. Now I really probably need to turn this around. So if you're not aware, that did not bottom out. So right here you have this little tapered area. That's to help get you started. Otherwise the threads comes all the way to the back. Let's see if I can do this. Then maybe I can, yep, there we go. Going on easy. There it gets a little resistance. Wow, we're getting a lot of resistance. Well, as far as going hand, or with the hand. Yeah, that's not bad. There we go. Now I'll have to go in the house and get my torque specs. There we go. So those of you that don't know, you want clean threads when you're going to torque something down like this, or the torque specs are very important, and they are with a head. So that's clean. The threads are clean. The threads and the nuts are clean. So that should go on all the way down, no issue. I just got to get, like I said, the torque specs. Then it'll be good. Again, earlier videos I talked about this being a horizontal valve. Here's your spark plugs on the side. It's like a head. It's a flathead setup, but it's horizontal. So again, the valves go this way. So the valves are right here, like that. And the head is only, yeah, it's like that thick. I don't know if you can see it. And then it's a little thinner at the bottom. It was about that thick at the top and about that thin at the bottom. Just, I think there's what, I can't remember if there's 13 or 15 studs. 4, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's what it is, 18. 18 nuts or studs. And then there's, again, it's split block, so you got two head gaskets. And the head and the manifold line all the blocks up, or line the blocks up. So I'm not going to worry about that. We just want it to run first, right? I mean, that, oh geez, that's something good to know. That generator's stuck. It's funny how the rest of this thing turns over, but that generator is locked up, at least by hand. So if I ever want that to work, we'll have to send it off. I may, because this is just going to be a puller for a while, or forever, whichever, I may just find a mini alternator and we'll hook that up and spin that to charge our system. All right. So like I was saying, I don't have time today to go in the house and get the torque specs, come out here and continue on. It's after 5. I can hear the wife just rolled in. Our daughter's from work. Daughter should be here from ag mechanics after school deal. So practice, that's what it is, ag mech practice. So I'll get the specs for that. I will get the brass, and next time you see me, we'll be putting that on, and hopefully the gas tank on, and hooking the fuel system up, and we'll finish out this video. Got it? Good.